This topic is a little controversial, but it is really important. And I think every female out there needs to hear this, and man, but women tend to be affected by it a little bit more. Now, why it's controversial is I've been accused of body shaming, and by no way, shape, or form is this a means of body shaming. This is specifically bringing attention to an area that could be telling you you have lymphatic congestion. And why women are more affected than men is because of something we do, and more importantly, something we put on pretty much daily. Stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you what it is, what to do about it, and we're going to literally go through a step-by-step routine for you to help address that lymphatic congestion. My name is Dr. Caitlin Zazowski. If you're new here, I am a certified functional medicine practitioner, and I have been doing lymphatic drainage on clients since 2010 as part of their treatment protocol when I was working with them. And I always taught them what to do at home, especially for littles. I actually had a pediatric and pregnancy practice. So most of the people that I was working on was that individual. It was a family practice, so I had my hands on everyone. But just so you know, I literally was teaching this to everybody. Now, let's talk about what is it? Like, what the heck am I talking about? And why am I being accused of body shaming? Well, I will stand by that a lot of time, not all the time, but a lot of time, when we do not have an armpit, it is lymphatic congestion. Now, of course, there can be things like lipomas. There could be breast tissue that like migrates into the armpit, especially from like breastfeeding moms, things like that. Of course, that can happen. But here's the thing, more times than not, that is not the case. A lot of times it's congested fluid in our armpit causing us to not have a pit, more of a bulge. So what I want you guys to see, I'm going to take my time in explaining this so that you know exactly what the heck I'm talking about. When we raise our arm, you can see, like with the camera angle, like as best as I can, I have a pit. When I bring my arm up, I still have a pit. I can put my arm on my head. I still have a pit. I can bring my arm back. I still have a pit. I can bring it all the way back. I still have a pit. I can bring it forward. I can bring it down. I can do all of these things. I still have a pit. We're supposed to have a pit. It's called an arm pit. It's not called an arm puff. It's not called an arm flat space. It's called an arm pit. And so why is it that we could get congestion in here? Well, let's talk about what drains into the armpit first, and then we're going to talk about what to do to address it. Okay, so what drains into the armpit is really fluid from 4 areas, actually. Let's really break it down. The fluid from our arm, so our bicep, tricep, our forearm, our elbow, our hand and fingers, all drains into our armpit. The fluid from our breast or our chest drains into that armpit. Fluid from our back, from our spine, that wraps around to the front, drains into our armpit. And fluid from above our belly button, from if we cut like our body down the middle, fluid from the one side, from our belly button over. So ultimately down to our rib cage, that top part of our abdomen drains up into our armpit. There's a lot of fluid draining there. Now, women, what is it that we do that could potentially cause congestion in that area more so than, say, a male? Bras, specifically bras that don't fit properly, and underwire bras. Now, I'm not saying do not wear them. I'm not saying let's ditch the bras, let's never wear a bra, or you can never wear underwire. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that bras, especially ones that don't fit, will 100% congest lymphatic fluid because it's not allowing things to drain. More times than not, our bras are too tight. And remember, the lymph is just below the surface of the skin. So we have to make sure that we're wearing the properly fitted bra ultimately. So go and get fitted. Go and get fitted. That's the simplest thing that you can do. And what you will see ultimately is you will likely have less fluid retention. And this also goes for dense breasts. So you may have an arm puff, like an arm puff, and you might also have dense breasts. So getting a properly fitted bra is really important. Now, if you have to wear underwire because you are a larger busted individual, totally fine. Just when you take it off, one, try not to wear it like 14 hours a day, right? Wear it as long as you must. And then when you take it off, do the lymphatic drainage so that you can get all of that stuff moving so that it doesn't stay stuck and congested. I cannot tell you the number of times, so I'm going to show you you what to do. I have people on all of my social media platforms going, it works. I'm starting to get a pit again. The puff is going down, you know, and it doesn't happen overnight by any means, because remember, this can be a long process. Yes, kids can have puffs. Kids can have lymphatic congestion. I've had lymphatic congestion, honestly, since I was a little kid, but mine showed up in my tonsils. Some kids, it shows up in their armpits. It just depends on where their weak point is and what's going on. So let's go through this, and I want you to do this with me. How can we get an armpit back? Now, consistency is key. And if you need the exact location, you got to go and watch the individual videos, because I break down exactly how to find it, what to do. But this is going to be the order in which you're going to do it. I highly recommend that you do the specific 7 and with a focus on, you know, the few that I'm going to talk about. But for like time's sake, I'm just going to show you what you can do specifically for that area. Again, please don't ignore the other ones. They're just as important, and it's quick. It's really quick to do the specific 7. But if you're on a time crunch, this is exactly what you would do. Okay, we're gonna do one side. So we're gonna do the left side, my left side. We're gonna clear our termini. So that's gonna be anywhere between 10 and 50. Let's just do 30 seconds, you know, to make it simple. From our termini, ideally what you would do is you would go and do your tonsillar node, but we're gonna go and do our apical. So from our termini, we're gonna go down and we're gonna do our apical node. Why? Because we're ultimately clearing the nodes in the order in which they drain. We start with the end point first. So the termini is the end. That's where all of our lymphatic fluid drains. The next point, closest to the termini, but then closest to the area of concern, is our apical node. So that's why we're doing this next. From the apical, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our armpit. So we're gonna do a few more here. Then we're gonna do our armpit. So we're gonna get our fingers right in there, and then we're gonna go up. And again, if you're like, how do I find the location? I did individual videos really breaking down each individual location. You can find them over here. And one thing that I'm gonna tell you guys too, when you're doing site specific, like an arm puff, instead of having an armpit, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go back up. So after we do the armpit, we're gonna go back and do a few on the apical, because all of the fluid from the armpit is then gonna go back and drain into the apical node. So we just wanna make sure that the fluid that we move from there has the ability to drain and it doesn't get stuck here. And then from here, we're gonna go back to the termini and just clear that one more time. We're ultimately just trying to make sure the path for the lymphatic fluid has a place to move, that it has the ability to drain because there's space for it. All right, that is how you clear and start getting that armpit back. Don't forget, always do both sides. Ideally, do the specific 7, guys. Again, it's not hard. It's super simple. Consistency is key. If you've had this for a long time, it's not gonna clear in a week, maybe even a month. It's the little habits that build over time that give you great results. So consistency is key. I'm excited for you guys to let me know how this goes. You know, I don't doubt that you won't be like the hundreds of other people who are like, I'm getting an armpit back. So thanks for being here and happy draining.